Gaming Gamer here, and 4.3 Spiral Abyss. You already know the drill. Let's just get to it.
Everybody stand!
Solidify!
Eat this! Attack! Hey there! Umbrella warfare, I guess! Umbrella warfare, I guess! Teamwork is dreamwork!
Stabilize! This is order! Remember, health comes first.
To oblivion! Illusion shattered! The Temple of Wisdom!
Taking a turn for the better. A bitter pill to swallow.
I see everything! Everybody stand! You're toast!
Stabilize!
Attack! That's so this one's got your name on it! Hiya! This one's got your name on it! Feeling lucky? Go in! This one's got your name on it! There is no it! My name is Helen Song! You should protect you! Make yourself a room! Now you shall perish! Hey! Time to shine!
Mind the side effects. Seems like an emergency.
Feeling happy? Torn to oblivion! Eat this!
Solidify! Order guide you.
Attack! That's the way. Attack! Yeah! Coming at ya! Shined up! This place is the Temple of Wisdom! Let my name echo in song!
Remember, health comes first.
Now you shall perish! Time to shine! Bright will glow, surely light! Coming Satellite! Sylvester! My apologies!
The wind knows it.
Turret, bring refuge! Time to shine! Rest and rebuild!
One with wind and cloud. Time to go. Wind strike.
Billowing surge!
Stabilize.
I'm going in! Eat this! Attack! Now this one's got your name on it! Attack! Umbrella warfare, I guess! Ha! 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 Watch out! Teamwork is dreamwork! Fire! Well, with rock. Umbrella warfare, I guess!
This is order.
Nice and spicy! Let's light it up! Umbrella warfare, I guess! Attack! Watch out! Hiya! Attack! Umbrella warfare, I guess! That's fun! I'm going in!
Stabilize. I will have order.
Showering you with praise!
One with nature.
Hold the line! Let the world collide! Whirling snow! Sakura swirl!
The wind knows it.
Strike a pose! Time to shine!
Clouds high. The birds call into the wind.
My apologies! Elements of the deep! Take flight!
The wind knows it.
Let the world collide! Rest and rebuild!
Fallen leaves. Adorn my
Torrent, bring them here! Coming Satellite! Sylvester! My apologies!
I will. Solidify.
Eat this! Coming at ya! Fire! Well, with rocks. Fellow warfare, I guess!
Stabilize.
Feeling lucky? That's fun! Teamwork is trick!
Order cut.
Stabilize! Hold the line! Whirling snow! Covenant of the deep! Strike a pose! Time to shine! Stone death!
Falling leaves, adorn my night!
Take flight!
Coming when foretold! One with nature, where the eagles will
Not done at least. You were here to watch.
And that is it for the Spiral Abyss 4.3 run. So yeah. Of course I am going to be talking about the runs that I do, and as well as the teams that I used as well. So yeah. Well, without any further ado, let's just talk about it. So, in this Spiral Abyss, this is kind of interesting because this Spiral Abyss is pretty easy. Yeah. I will be going into it in greater detail in the commentary video, but I will be discussing about these in, I guess, in the short term, I guess. Like, just talking about them briefly. So yeah. Well, as for 411, it's not that bad. I mean, slimes and specters, not that bad. Just a couple shield enemies on the first half, and the second half is a Hilichurl rogue, and then some robots. And then afterwards we have a specialist and another specialist, and then a Jade Plume Terror Shroom. So yeah, floor 11 is not that bad. The only thing that will probably give you a hard time is Chamber 1. Just because of how much slimes love to jump around, so that means that you can't hit them when they jump around. So yeah, that is the only reason why you could probably struggle with this, but I guess not really. But in the second half, there is, of course, specters. You know how annoying those are, they explode all the time. And then, of course, there are mimics as well. So you have the crane, the mallard, and the boar. So no eagles. Thank goodness. So, I guess the only annoying mimic is the boar. But yeah, the only chamber you'll probably struggle with in this floor is Chamber 1. But other than that, these are easy. And this is also easy. Now for floor 12. Yes, floor 12. So, this is a really interesting floor in that this is kind of easy. Again, like, I don't know why. Yeah, there's really nothing for me to say, but other than to just bring your best teams. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Bring your best teams and wreak havoc. That is the main takeaway of this floor. So, on the first half is the Perpetual Mechanical Array. It's the one robot boss in Inazuma. If you already know how to deal with this thing, then you probably already know how to basically defeat it really fast. But yeah, mainly the main takeaway is to nuke it down and then let it do its phase where it splits into 4 parts, defeat the main part, and then finish it off. That's basically it. And Thundering Manifestation is also an Inazuma boss. Pretty easy as well. Just bring anything other than Electro and you should be fine. So yeah. Chamber 2. So this is a pretty interesting floor. So you have Construction Specialists, Ruin Guards, and Ruin Graders. By the way, there's 4 robots that spawn individually. So yeah, so it spawns the Specialist individually, and then it spawns a Ruin Guard individually, and I think the last two robots spawn together, which is the Ruin Graders. I'm pretty sure. It's been a while since I have went back into this Spiral Abyss because, well, once I was done playing the Spiral Abyss, I just went back to celebrating New Year's. So yeah, forgot to mention that I am recording this on New Year's Day. So yeah, basically it's late at night for me. So yeah, but anyways, enough about my life. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is one specialist, one ruin guard, two ruin graders, and you have to deal with them all simultaneously. And then in the second half, we have Geo, like just Geo enemies. So you have the Vishaps, the Geo Slime, the Geo Spectre, and the Stonehide Lawtrell. So yeah, these enemies are basically a gate lock, I guess, if you want to call it, or just a lock for Geo characters. That means that you can't run Geo nukers like Ito and Navia on the second half. So you basically just want to run anything other than Geo, and you should be fine as well, which is what I did on the second half. And then Chamber 3, this is where basically the hardest chamber is on this floor. It's Chamber 3. So you have the Hydro Tulpa. So I'm gonna say this right now, don't do what I did in this run, which is basically just wailing on it. Do it properly. And by that, I mean you'll thank me later. Because the Hydro Tulpa will always summon its minions. You have to kill its minions before you deal damage to it again. Because if its minions are up, which are the Hydro Slimes, then it has damage reduction. You want to deal with their minions first before you deal with the Tulpa itself. So yeah, that is my main advice for you. Don't do what I did. So yeah, just deal with the Hydro Slimes once it spawns them, and then afterwards you can just deal damage to the Tulpa. It's not that bad. And then the second half is just the Lawtrells and then just two Eremites. If you already know how to deal with these two enemies, then this is just an easy breeze of a Spiral Abyss. You see what I mean by this Spiral Abyss is pretty easy? That's because there's really nothing, there's like no like terrible enemies to deal with, like Heralds or Husks or basically any shield enemy in the game. Yeah, there's like the only shield enemies that you will have to deal with is just the Vish or the Geo Slime, and then the Lawtrells, the Thunder Lawtrell, and then the Eremite, sort of, if you count the summons as their shield, because once they summon their things, they become, well, they just have damage reduction, so you have to deal with the enemies they spawn before you deal damage to the Eremite sorcerers. So yeah. But that's basically it for floor 12. Not really that bad. Again, this is just an easy floor. Yeah, both of these floors are pretty easy. So yeah. Well, I guess I could explain why I used the teams. So the first half I used is Navia. The reason why I use Navia is because, well, the Abyssal Moons buff is literally just, if you get a shard, you deal increased damage. So yeah, that's basically it. And then the second half is just, basically, since there are no restrictions except don't run Geo because of the second half on Chamber 2, I just ran Ayaka Freeze since Ayaka is out in the banner the same time that Navia is out. So yeah, I just wanted to run an Ayaka team to complete basically the theme of the video. So yeah, but speaking of teams, it's time to transition to the character, well, yeah, the character showcase. So yeah, first off, I am going to be going to the showcase tab right here. And then let's talk about every single member on the team. So yeah, well, without any further ado, let's just go. So first off, we have our girl Navia, who is extremely busted. So yeah, by the time I'm recording this, it's already been weekly reset. So I will be talking about talents in a bit, but I will just go over her stats first. So here's her stats. So it's 3,000 attack. By the way, the team that she is on right now is on a double pyro, but I forgot to do that. So let me just deploy and then put her in. And now you'll see her real stats. So yeah, there you go. So that is 2,400. That is her attack. But the main reason why I didn't want to deploy yet is to show you guys what her attack is on a double pyro team. So yeah, 3,000 attack basically. Just keep that in mind. crit rate is at 59.7%, crit damage at 248.5%, and then we have geo damage of the wazoo. You'll see why in a bit. As for her weapon, I have the Verdict, which is her best weapon. Of course, her best free-to-play weapon is the Melusine Stick, aka the main claymore that we just got from the event. So yeah, that is her main free-to-play weapon. But as for her actual weapon, Verdict, if you do have some cash to spend on the Battle Pass, you can run Serpent Spine. That is also a really good weapon as well. And also, if you do want to have a triple E Navia, you can also run Sacrificial Sword. That is also a really good sword to run. Since Energy Recharge is kind of good on Navia since she needs her Q to get shrapnel stacks, that also works as well. So yeah, you have plenty of options to use for Navia. You can use Verdict, you can use Serpent Spine, you can use the Melusine Stick, or you can use the Sacrificial Sword. It doesn't really matter what you run, but anything is good on Navia, so yeah. As for artifact set, I have 2-piece Artiac, 2-piece Shiminawas, or basically 2-piece attack. Yeah, this is the best set to run if you don't have her main set. So yeah, I'm still currently trying to farm for the Navia set, but again, as always, farming sucks. So yeah, I haven't gotten even one good artifact set on her yet, or even one good artifact piece. So the best I could do it is just 2-piece Artiac, 2-piece attack percent. So yeah, that is mainly the hyper carry Navia. But of course, obviously, her best artifact set is literally the main artifact set she runs. But as for other artifact recommendations I can give you guys, Hunters is really good if you're running her strictly on a furina team. Navia, what was I saying? Yeah, but furina team, you can just run Hunters. Hunters is really good on a furina team if you just run Navia on, well, furina. You can also run 2-piece Artiac, 2-piece Golden Troop. That also really works too if you run Navia as a sub DPS. So yeah, you can run Navia as a sub. That also works too, since mainly her damage is based off her E. But since I do love to play Navia a lot as hyper carry, I just ran her with a hyper carry set. So that is the reason why I just ran this set anyway. But any artifact set works anyway, so yeah. As for constellations, I have her at C0. She doesn't really need constellations to be good. Her C1 just basically gives her more energy on her Q and also decreases the cooldown. And then her C2 basically just gives her more crit rate as well as give her a extra shot on her Q, which means that you get more shrapnel stacks. So yeah. If you want her to consistently crit more, then just get her C2. But other than that, if you are satisfied with her gameplay and you don't really need the crit rate, then you can just run her at C0, which is what I did. And as for her talents, I have 696. Remember when I said that it is just barely weekly reset? I do every single weekly boss, so I can't really level this up yet. Yeah. So yeah, I need to at least run one more Narwhal, and then she'll become level 10. But yeah, I just wanted to showcase that these are my talent levels, 696. So yeah, once I level this up to level 10, the next thing I'm going to be leveling up is probably her normal attack. So yeah, the Q is only used for shrapnel stacks anyway. So yeah, there we go. So there's Navia, pretty cool. As you see there, a ton of geo damage and just Gunbrella. That's all I've got to say. Next up on the team, we have the Geo Archon himself, Mr. Zhongli. So Zhongli has not changed. 50k HP. Crit rate, crit damage is pretty average. Yes, I do run him as a sub and a support at the same time. Don't judge me. He has geo damage for some reason. I'm pretty sure that's his level up stat. As for his weapon, I have Black Tassel. This is his best weapon. I am not joking. For a support Zhongli. Of course, if you want to run more damage on him, you can run Staff of Homa. But Staff of Homa and Black Tassel are just interchangeable. But Black Tassel is his best support set because it literally gives him HP. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Tenacity of the Millelith, which is his best 4-piece set. there is no other set you would ever run, because Tenacity of the Millith is literally meant to be played with Zhongli, since it gives shield strength and also gives attack to nearby party members, and since your shield will be up for all the time, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Just run this set. As for a sub-DPS Zhongli, if you ever do run one, then you can just run a 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Archaeac. That also works too. But Tenacity of the Millith is what everyone runs, so yeah, just run Tenacity. As for constellations, I have him at C0. He doesn't need constellations to be good, like every other character. He is basically, I guess, a quote-unquote day 1 character. So he has really wonky constellations, like what, double E. You just create a shield when you use Q. Yeah, it's really weird. He doesn't need constellations to be good, because the only thing you'll ever be using him for is his shield. As for his talents, 6, 10, 6, of course level this up to level max. If you are going to be leveling up one thing from Zhongli, level up the shield. Always level up the shield. But yeah, that is basically Zhongli. Still really good to this day. Still one of the best shielders ever to grace in this game. Next up is, well, the only Pyro sub-DPS that is still top tier. That is Miss Zhongling, the chef. So yeah, Zhongling has not changed either. As you see here, crit rate, crit damage is basically pretty average. Energy recharge is pretty high, and she has pyro damage, of course. As for her weapon, I have the Catch. This is her best pole arm ever. Literally her best free-to-play pole arm. There's like no other pole arm you'll ever run. If Raiden runs this, then you can just run Dragon's Bane. No biggie. Yeah, she works well with Elemental Mastery anyway. So yeah, you could just run Dragon's Bane or the Catch. It doesn't really matter what you run Zhongling with. You can also run Staff of Homa or Engulfing Lightning. It doesn't really matter. And basically any pole arm works well with her as long as it increases her damage. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. This is her best artifact set because she is a sub-DPS at heart because of her Q. So yeah, higher energy recharge, the higher her damage is on her Q. It is also a no-brainer. As for constellations, I have her at C6. It is pretty easy to get her C6. She is a day 1 character after all, and she is featured in a bunch of banners. So yeah, if you are a day 1 player, you should have her at C6. If not, then the best constellation, of course, on Zhongling is, of course, C6, because it gives pyro damage bonus for all your party members, as well as herself. So yeah, it is a really, really good constellation to have. If you don't have Zhongling, you can buy her from the shop with Starlight Glitters. That is also an option too if you do not have constellations on Zhongling. But it is pretty pricey though, so debate on whether you want to spend your glitters on Zhongling or if you want to use that for basically 5 pulls instead. As for talents, I have 6, 9, 11. This is basically almost maxed out. Since Zhongling is at level 80, I can't level this up any further unless I awaken or ascend Zhongling. But right now, I am farming Navia's artifact set, so once I'm done with that, I guess I could just level this up to level 13. But that is basically Zhongling. Still really good to this very day. Yeah, I don't think she'll ever age, ever. Just like the big 3. As for the final member of the first half, we have our boy Bennett, who will also never be outdated. But yeah, as you see here, his HP was at 31k. His energy recharge is also pretty high too. He has healing bonus as well, so he can basically heal his party members. As for his weapon, I have Skyward Blade. This is his best weapon in general because it gives energy recharge and high base attack. If you are a OG or old school player, you can also run Festering Desire. That is also his best 4-star weapon since it does have a high base attack. So yeah, and it also has energy recharge as the level up stat. So yeah, you can run Festering, you can run Skyward, you can also run Favonia's Sword if you don't have those weapons. You can also run Sack Sword, that also works as well. Basically, any weapon that gives him energy recharge and high base attack works really well on him. As for artifact set, 4-piece Noblesse, this is his best set. There's no other set you would ever run. Yeah, unless you're running a main DPS Bennett, which I guess a fraction of the people do. Support Bennett runs 4-piece Noblesse. And it is also a no-brainer because, well, it gives buffs to your party members. And what does Bennett do well? He buffs people. So yeah. As for constellations, I have him at C5. The reason why I don't have him at C6 is because if I do get him at C6, then that means that I can't use him on any other team other than the Pyro team, or basically restricting what he can be ran on. So yeah, Bennett basically just is good at C1. All you need is C1, and that's it. But if you want to get him at C5, you can get him at C5 to get the extra 3 levels. So yeah. As for talents, I have 6, 9, 13. Of course I level this max because Bennett's main gameplay is to use his Q. So yeah, that is Bennett, and that is the first half of the team, which is just double Geo, double Pyro. So yeah, pretty simple team, really. And now it's time for the second half. The second half is an Ayaka Freeze team without Shenhua. So yeah, that's basically the only thing that's changed on that team. But speaking of Ayaka, here she is, who is also on the banner with Navia. So if you want to get Ayaka, now is your chance. But here is my Ayaka build. As you see here, she has 2000 attack. Her crit rate, crit damage is also pretty good. Her, her damage is also pretty good as well because of the weapon that she holds. And guess what that weapon is? It's one of the best swords in the game, Miss Splitter Reforge. It is at R3, by the way. I just want to say that. Because I got basically unlucky on the weapon banner and I got 2 Miss Splitter Reforges. So guess what? I just refined it on Ayaka. So yeah. But basically, it is just a high damage sword that basically gives more elemental damage bonus. And you can get more elemental damage bonus once you get stacks in. So yeah, it is really good on Ayaka. One of the best swords in the game. Definitely a must run. You can also run the black sword. That is also a good sword too. You can also run other crit damage swords too, like the Fang. The Fang is a new battle pass weapon that you can basically run on Ayaka, and that works really well on her too. So yeah, but her main weapon is the Miss Splitter, if you guys are wondering, and it is her best sword. As for artifact set, 4-piece Blizzard Strayer. This is still her best artifact set to this very day because she is run on the one of the best teams in the game, which is Freeze. So yeah, if you want to run Ayaka at her max potential, run Blizzard Strayer because she can crit more on Freeze teams. As for constellations, I have her at C0. She doesn't need constellations to be good as well, just like other characters who basically have a really good base kit. It's just because Ayaka just does so much damage, and plus she gets on-command crowd damage thanks to her dash. So yeah, she doesn't really need constellations to be good, and besides, you just get, cooldown bonuses, and you just get more damage on top of it, but she doesn't really need that if she already does a lot of damage anyway, so yeah. And as for talents, I have 10, 9, 10. So yeah, I am close to leveling up to level 10. I might probably do that. I just have to check how many materials I have, but yeah, this is what I ran on the Spiral Abyss. This is what her talents were. So yeah, 10, 9, 10, as you see there. Yeah, so there is Ayaka. Pretty cool. So yeah, really, really good character. Next up on the team is Kairihara Kazuha, who is still one of the best animal supports in the entire game. Yeah, don't judge me. But yeah, crit rate, crit damage here is pretty average. His energy recharge is also pretty average too. And then his animal damage is also really high as well. As for weapon, I have Iron Sting. This is his best free-to-play weapon if you want to run Kazuha on a, free-to-play budget, basically. You could just run Iron Sting. That is his best weapon. Of course, his best weapon is his literal main 5-star weapon. It basically increases the elemental damage that your party members will do. So yeah, it's pretty good. But Iron Sting just basically increases the elemental damage of all party members by a little bit. But it's still really good on R5 because you just get a 24% bonus because you get 2 stacks. So yeah, pretty good. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Viridescent Venerer. It is his best artifact set. There is no other artifact set you would run. Because Viridescent Venerer basically decreases the elemental res of the element that is in the swirl. Yeah, so yeah, basically I have to freeze. And that's mainly all I have to say. As for constellations, I have him at C0. He doesn't need constellations to be good because you will mainly run him on his Q and his E. his main role is to buff damage. But if you want to have more elemental mastery on your characters, you can run him with C2 because you get a flat 200 elemental mastery when you use Kazuha's Slash, his Q. So yeah, if you want to have more elemental mastery, just give him at C2. But as for talents, I have him at 6, 7, 10. Of course, I leveled this up to level 10 since this is his main bread and butter. But yeah, there you go. There is Kazuha. Still one of the best supports in the entire game, and also one of the best sub DPSs in the entire game. So yeah. Next up, we have Lady Furina, the Hydro Archon, or former Hydro Archon. So yeah. As you see here, her max HP is pretty kind of low, but there's a reason why I have it pretty low, and I will explain why in a moment. But her crit rate crit damage is pretty high. Her energy recharge is also pretty high too, meaning that she gets her burst. She doesn't have any hydro damage because I basically invested it all on HP. As for weapon, I have Splendor of Tranquil Waters. This is her best weapon. Of course, I mean, it's Furina's main weapon, obviously. Her other weapon of choice is the Festering Desire if you are an OG. But if you're not an OG, then just run the Fisherman Pole. That is also her best weapon too. So you have 3 weapons to choose from. You could be the Whale, which is the Splendor of Tranquil Waters. You could be the OG, which is the Festering Desire. Or you can be the normal person, or the Fisherman, which basically you just get the Fisherman's Pole. But yeah, that is her main weapon lineup. As for artifact set, I have 4-piece Golden Troop. This is her best set in general. It helps with her sub DPS, it helps with her support, it helps with everything. So yeah, mainly her main damage is from her sub DPS capabilities. So yeah, that is why I ran Golden Troop. If you run her with strictly on healing, you could run the 4-piece Ocean Hued Clam. That is her best healing set. So yeah, you can run 4-piece Oceans, or you can run 4-piece Golden Troop. It is up to you to decide whether you should run those two. But in the end, she's good with both sets anyway. As for Constellations, I have her at C2. If you want to run Furina as a sub DPS, you don't have to run her with C2, just because, well, she doesn't need the damage, or she doesn't need the Q boost on her damage. But if you want to run her on strictly support, and if you want to support all your party members, then C2 is the way to go. Because in C1, she gets a 400 fanfare limit with a 150 fanfare right off the start when you use her Q. And then her C2 basically accelerates her fanfare gain by 250%. And also, if you do get overflow fanfare, which you will get a lot, you will increase the HP you gain. That is the reason why my Furina's HP is really low, because she gets really high HP anyway, to the point where she could get 60k HP. As for her talents, I have 6, 10, 10. Of course, I leveled these two up because that is her main gameplay. She will never do normal attacks unless you have her at C6. But since I don't have her at C6, 10, 10, 6. So yeah. There is Furina. Really, really good Hydro support. Still one of the best supports in the entire game, just because of how much damage and also how much she buffs the team. Last but not least, we have Kokomi, who has never left my team ever since. She's just way too good. But yeah, as you see here, her HP is at 37k. If she is in a double Hydro team, it is at 40k, by the way. Just wanted to let you know. Same with Furina. If Furina is on a double Hydro team, she'll be at 30k HP. Forgot to mention that. But yeah, as you see here, her HP was pretty high, energy recharge is also pretty high, so that she can get her burst up, so we can basically get a ton of healing. As for weapon, I have Thrilling Tales of the Dragon Slayers. This is obviously her best support weapon, because it basically gives attack when you go off field on her. It is a no-brainer if you want to run a support Kokomi. You can also run the Prototype Amber. That is her also one of her best weapons too, if you strictly want to run Kokomi on a healing team. If you want to run Kokomi as a DPS, of course you could just run the Purple Donut. That is also her best DPS set. Really, it's a mix and match on Kokomi if you want her as a sub DPS, or a DPS, or a support. It doesn't really matter what you run Kokomi on, she works well on all rules. So yeah. As for artifact set, I have Tenacity of the Millilith. This is her best support set, obviously. Her best sub and her best main is Ocean Hued Clam 4-piece. So yeah, if you want to run DPS or sub DPS, Kokomi, Ocean Hued Clam, because it basically gives her the flat 30k damage per attack, on top of what her cube will basically deal, which is a ton of damage. But if you want to run her strictly as a support, then just run Tenacity of the Millilith, because when you use her E, you basically get a ton of attack, which is really, really nice on, well, your team, because you just get more attack. As for Constellation's average C1, again, I said it a lot of times before, but if you guys are new, the reason why I have her at C1 is because of the Kokomi summoning video. If you have not seen the Kokomi summoning video, see it right now. But, besides the shameless plug, Kokomi does not need constellations to be good. Her main use is to heal your party members and support. So yeah. As for her talent, I have it at 688. Yeah, this is kind of minimally built Kokomi, but I am planning to get these two to level 10 because I just use her way too much at this point. So yeah, she's just basically a main staple on my team. But that is basically it for every single character in that team. And that is it for this Spiral Abyss video. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you do want to support the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Any amount of support is greatly appreciated. I do enjoy making Genshin content, so if you do show a ton of support on the channel, that'll be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Let's start off the new year with, well, more support. That is all I'm gonna say. If you do subscribe to the channel, be sure to turn on the notification bell to not miss out on a single upload that I do. I upload once a week, but the upload schedule is inconsistent, so if you do turn on the notification bell, you won't miss out on a single upload that I do. So yeah, if you do subscribe, just turn it on. Also, comment down below, what do you think of this Spiral Abyss? You think it's easy, like when you agree with me, that you think it's easy, or you think it's hard? Do you think it's okay? Or what is your opinion on the enemy placement on the Spiral Abyss? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you do comment down below, be sure to comment down below what teams you used, because, well, I want to engage with you guys even more in the comments below. I do love to respond to comments, so yeah, comment down below, what do you think of the Spiral Abyss, and also what teams you used. I am very, very curious to know. And as always, thank you guys for watching this Spiral Abyss video, and I'll see you guys in the next Genshin video.